In the past I've made many audio amplifiers for all kinds of audio output levels to the loudspeakers. They were always made with BJT, bipolar junction transistors. And my idea was to make an audio amplifier with MOSFETs. So this is new for me in a certain way. So I had to search to find a circuit, and I found a circuit on the World Wide Web. Looked nice, though they had, say, swapped the PNP and the NPN MOSFET, so it couldn't work. That was my first idea. The second idea was, when I made it, that it could be easily overdriven. And well, that had everything to do with the fact that it looked like a kind of op-amp circuit. And we know from op-amps that they can easily be overdriven, say, driven out to their maximum positive voltage. So for audio, that's not a good approach, because an audio loudspeaker is not an electromotor anyway. So this is what it is at the moment, and this is the schematic. I had to do a lot of adaptations at first to get the original schematic in a certain way under control. When in the original schematic I changed here the bias, it quickly, the whole amplifier quickly started to get into an overdrive situation. So in audio that means that sine waves are changed into square waves. And not for all the frequencies, but for certain frequencies. Anyway, so what were the measures that I have taken? At first the schematic for a few moments. The bias had to be adapted, and I've done that in a certain way. At first, by connecting here the positive of the resistor that goes to the base of the first transistor in the Darlington to the node here, and that was also already in the original schematic. So that's not new anyway. It worked better, and another way to make it work better was to, say, bias the MOSFETs in a better way. And in the original schematic there was here a diode, a 10K a resistor here, but I've added here two extra diodes, a 10K resistor and a 10K potentiometer, and this potentiometer and that potentiometer, so this and that, are now responsible for the bias. To tame the kind of op-amp audio amp better, so to prevent clipping, I made here an adaptation to the circuit by not connecting the emitter of the first transistor in the Darlington directly to the base, but via a resistor. And that can be bridged with a capacitor, and that has an effect on the sound. So 3 and 3300 picofarad is the good value to get enough high into the loudspeaker box here, and 1 microfarad or 0.47 microfarad helps to get more bass boost. But in that case the whole amplifier, of course with all that bass boost, has to be operated on a somewhat lower volume control. Anyway, schematic again. I published a circuit with music of Nina Simone. YouTube did not accept it, so I had to do it all over. Anyway, no problem. Pin connections of the used MOSFETs here. I've used a P MOSFET and an N MOSFET. MOSFETs must be mounted on a heatsink. This heatsink is in fact too small. When you want to give your amplifier a very long life, mount it on a better heatsink, say for instance this or so. Such a type of heatsink. And I always use, but that's only my personal idea, 2 separate heatsinks. But of course when you mount it, isolate it, the MOSFET, you can use 1 heatsink anyway. That's what you want and what you need, etc. The resistors are protective here, 3.3 ohms also here, 3.3 ohms, 1000 microfarad end capacitor. When you want to get more bass, at least in theory, you can make that value higher, say 2000 microfarad, 4000 microfarad, etc., etc. And you can do that in combination with this capacitor that gives more bass boost. Schematic again. This is the classic filter here, 470 microfarad, 200k, 0.1 microfarad, etc., etc. Perhaps it could be a problem that the whole circuit constantly takes 600 milliampere. So when you want to make it for stereo, you need a hum-free power supply that can give out approximately 1.2 ampere, and that is quite high. The current is quite high, given and in relation to the output level that reaches the speaker. So perhaps there are better circuits, in a certain way better circuits, but this is also in a certain way a good circuit because we have used here MOSFETs, and on 24 volts they don't suffer from thermal runaway. I've tested it over and over for a few hours with a 20 watt automotive lamp. This input here at the base of this transistor is very sensitive for hum. Has everything to do with the high impedance here, 1 mega ohm. But I pressed the input impedance much down by using here a voltage divider of 2 times 1 kilo ohm and then the normal volume control. That worked nice, but I have to say it is perhaps a better idea to mount this in say the best way, the standard way that must be used for audio amplifiers in a metal box. Now it's not shielded, it picks up a tiny hum anyway. That could not be a problem when you want to use this amplifier. Anyway, let's listen to the music. Like I told, I got a copyright strike, so I immediately removed the video, and now I'll try to do it again. Let's listen. So the amplifier sounds very nice. By the way, I've bought today 2 new loudspeaker boxes in a thrift store in Infinity. And perhaps you can hear the tiny hum anyway. Doesn't have to be a problem anyway. So again, let's listen again. Perhaps it's interesting to show. So, I hope it was not too long. I'm on 10 minutes on my camera. Let's now get to, say, listen to sine waves. Take some time, of course, like everything. Sine wave. And here is approximately the resonance of this loudspeaker box. Anyway, I have to say I've now aligned everything to the ideal situation. So when you give it more input, you will see distortion. And here distortion. This is distortion, of course. So let's go back to the maximum undistorted output level. Perhaps also interesting when we listen to very low frequencies. This is the resonance frequency of the box. Every loudspeaker box has a certain resonance frequency where a specific frequency is amplified much higher compared to the other frequencies, and especially in the range where that loudspeaker does its job. So in this case, say in the 100 Hertz range, this is the resonance frequency. You can hear, say, the floor tremble. But not here, also here, and here. Here, of course not here, because that frequency is too high. Anyway, well, distortion, related to the input audio level, of course, anyway. The amplification on the higher frequency bands is somewhat smaller. Let's look and see and listen. So anyway, it works nice. So, not thanks to YouTube, Google, that I could not demonstrate it with music of one of my favorites, Nina Simone. Anyway, the schematic again. And I think I've told almost everything. So thanks for watching.